Hallo Leute, ich bin Tyler und ihr seid Deutsch für euch.
Hi there! This is just a part of a series that I'm doing on prefixes. To fully understand what's going on here, I recommend you watch the introduction on prefixes I did a while back, in which I explained when prefixes get separated from the base verb and when they don't, plus the little how-to I did on this whole series as to how to use these videos and what exactly I'm even trying to do with them. As a short reminder, you can find a list of the verbs that I will be combining with the individual prefixes in the description of all of these videos. Also, be aware that in the video I will not be combining every prefix with every one of those verbs, just in the interest of time. For more information on how to get the full list, though, stay tuned until the end of the video. And that's it for the intro. Have fun with today's prefixes. Los. Two main meanings here. The first one being that something is coming loose, undone, or kind of falling off of something. You may remember me telling you about a similar meaning for the prefix ab. Ab usually means off. Abfallen, fall off. The difference here is that usually los refers to connections that are artificial or only temporary, or something that just kind of became loose but hasn't completely fallen off. While ab usually refers to things that are naturally or organically connected or at least secured like very, very firmly. And when those things are up, we mean they're just not attached at all anymore. You might be able to fix it, but usually it has that kind of finite ring to it. While as when something is los or lose is either just coming loose and still kind of attached but not securely attached anymore, or we're talking about a connection that was pretty temporary and artificial, or not intended to last, not expected to last, something like that. So it's kind of about flimsy connections. So for example, to tie somebody loose or to untie somebody means jemanden losbinden. Now we could argue about whether or not that's a secure, connection, because usually when you tie somebody up, then they're intended to stay that way from your perspective. But it's not a connection that's very permanent, and it's something that can become loose instead of just being hacked off. While something abbinden, to contrast that exactly, would be when I put a tourniquet around my arm. So usually abbinden is used to refer to blocking some sort of pathway, which then usually means blood vessels. And then secondly, colloquially, a much more easy to explain meaning, it means starting something. I'm los doing something. Which is also why the exclamation los means go! So just as an example for these, we have loslaufen, to take off running, los trinken, to start drinking, or los spielen, to start a game. Okay, let's go. Jemanden oder etwas los sein. To be rid of something or somebody. But we also have just los sein, which is kind of to be the matter. So I'll just use some example sentences for this, since you'll never encounter this in the infinitive. So we have the very common sentence, was ist los? What's wrong? Or I could say, irgendwas ist da los? Something's going on over there. Or, was ist denn mit dir los? What's wrong with you? Or what's going on with you? If you were to translate it literally, it would mean what's loose here, what's out of place here, what's coming undone here, something like that. Jemanden oder etwas los werden, to get rid of somebody or something. Sich von jemandem oder etwas lossagen, to break away from somebody or something, to kind of break a metaphorical spell that somebody or something has over you. So this is usually connected to some sort of urgency, and you might see it used in the context of, for example, drugs or an abusive relationship. Losgehen, to get going, to start walking, or to just start. Kind of depends on what you are referring to when using this verb. So for example, when you're using it for people or other living things, it means to start walking. Ich gehe jetzt los. I'm gonna get going now, I'm taking off now. However, I can also use it for things or events that start. So, das Spiel geht los, the game is starting. Losmachen. Either a very simple speech way of saying to detach something from something, or colloquially can also mean to get started, very vaguely, just start. Mach los! It's usually used very impatiently. jemanden oder etwas loslassen, to let go of somebody or something. Or just loslassen, to let go. Let it go, let it go. And that's your copyright strike number 1. You just watch. I'm gonna have the GEMA on my ass in 2 days. I'm gonna disappear forever. That's how it works in Germany. Loslegen. It's very colloquial. Means to like full speed get started on something. So, lass uns loslegen means let's get cracking. And again, with the modals, usually when they're combined, it's leaving out some sort of other verb and it means starting that activity. Mit. You might know this word already. It means with, and that's also what the prefix usually means. Although usually translation-wise, you will see it translated a lot as along, as you will see in a second. Jemandem etwas mitgeben. To give something to somebody to take along with them. And since that is such a convoluted verb, this usually gets translated very differently and context-based in English. Meine Mama hat mir mein Essen mitgegeben. My mom packed my lunch. My mom gave me some lunch to take with me. Sie hat mir ihren Ring mitgegeben. She gave me her ring to take with me. So the implication here through that prefix alone is that this person that is talking is not currently home. Basically, to shorten the context down, the context here is she gave me her ring when I left. Mit jemandem mitgehen. To go along with somebody. Not in the sense of letting something happen. That's not what that verb means in German. Mitmachen or bei etwas mitmachen. To join in, to participate, to take part in a certain activity. Mitkommen. To come along. Mitbleiben does not exist. To say to stay with somebody, we say bei jemandem bleiben. Mithören can mean to listen along, can also mean to eavesdrop, so kind of context-based. Etwas oder jemanden mitnehmen, to take something or somebody along with you, or to bring somebody with you. This is kind of confusing, watch out. We have the verb mitbringen that I will get to in a second, but to bring something or somebody along with you, meaning you leave from somewhere and you also bring something with you, that is mitnehmen, because you're taking it from somewhere. So the focus in German stays on the taking, not on the bringing. So for example, if I wanted to say I'm going to the forest and I'm bringing my camera, in German I usually would say, ich gehe in den Wald und ich nehme meine Kamera mit. Only exception is, if somebody's already in the forest waiting for you and you're coming and bringing your camera, then you can say, ich bringe meine Kamera mit. Which brings us to mitbringen, which means to bring something along. Although usually, like I said, you can only say this when you're bringing it to somebody. Which then means jemandem etwas mitbringen. So a parent might go on a business trip and mitbringen, some souvenir. Bringst du mir etwas mit? Are you bringing me anything? And then 2 special mentions. The first one is mitfühlen, mit jemandem mitfühlen, which means to empathize, to sympathize, to literally to feel along with somebody. And I really like this word because I feel like it really expresses what you're trying to say with that. Which turns into an adjective that you can use to describe people, mitfühlend. Somebody who's sympathetic, somebody who's empathetic. So it's usually something that's positive. And then lastly, I want to give you a little idiom that we use, mitgehangen, mitgefangen. Which means, even if you weren't directly involved in somebody doing something wrong, even if you just kind of were pressured into helping them or were there at the wrong place at the wrong time, you're still gonna be punished for it. So if you're in any way part of somebody else's bad stuff, you didn't prevent them from doing it, you took part but you weren't the main factor, you still get the same punishment because you were part of it. Mitgehangen, mitgefangen. Cling together, swing together, I've heard is a somewhat antiquated English version of that. And once again, the modal verbs, können, wollen, sollen, etc., just leave out some middle movement verb usually. So mit wollen means to want to come along. Ich will mit. I want to come. That sounded wrong. You know what I meant. Anyway, that's it for today. Your random word of the week is die Plakette. This is awesome. I mean, it only took 8 months, but hey, I have it now. Thanks again, guys. This is amazing. It's really pretty, and I'm probably gonna leave it in the background of my videos. for some bragging rights. Also, if you want to get a copy of the aforementioned lists of all the verbs that I combine with these prefixes for every one of the prefixes, as well as all the grammar scripts of my grammar episodes that I've ever done before, consider supporting me on Patreon, which is always linked in the description as well as on the screen right now. You can pledge any amount you want, and once your first pledge goes through at the end of a month, I will add you to the Dropbox folder with all of those documents. Bis nächste Woche. Tschüss!